Welcome back to the shop. Alright, I last left you, we drilled a bunch of the holes in all these plates. Our next step is to really quickly, oh, and I had deburred everything too. The next step is, well, I deburred the edges. Now I'm going to deburr all the holes because they're some kind of nastiness. So this is going to be really boring, but very necessary. Let's switch to low. The weight of the drill is doing a fantastic job. And this is both to make things work better, but also, and it's both to make things safer, and also for the tapped holes, it's going to help the taps start a lot easier. So I'm just going to very boringly run through these and just keep on making them safe and countersinks, basically. Countersunked, just deburring. Nothing to it really. So we'll just go through this. I'll give you some nice music and we'll come back when I'm done. So we've got a couple more holes I want to make before I get into tapping all of these things, because these got to get tapped anyways. And those are for a side panel to go onto the base. All these 1/4-inch holes here need to get transferred to the base so that it can be drilled and tapped for 1/4-20. So what I'm going to do is, I think I will start by putting the part up. So what I want to do is I want to clamp it square and clamp this down so that nothing slides all over for me. And so I'm just going to use these, it's a woodworking tool, it's just a clamping square, and I'm just going to use these to, that might work just fine. We'll use my square to get them where they belong. This might work out well. There we go. Make sure you are flush with that edge. Perfect. And then I can clamp it down. I'm going to go this way, I think. And it's going to move all over for a minute, but that's going to keep the sheet from moving around on me. Okay, now we're going to... Where did I throw that mallet? Over here. I'm just going to nudge this. I'm going to try to go shoot over top of it, and then I'll head back towards it. There we go. That's pretty good. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. Let's cinch this down. And that'll hold one end. And we'll do the same down here, but instead of a clamp, I'm going to use a holdfast and a small block of wood. Get it kind of, oh no, we're not going to get it that way, are we? We can do it this way, it's fine. Or, I think we're going to have to go that route, that's fine. There, that'll hold it well enough, I think. It's going to be a little tippy, but it's okay. Okay, check it. Seems pretty dang near. Let's see. No, we're going this way some. There we go. There. Cinch that down. Double check one more time that nothing really moved. This may have. It seems pretty good there. Okay. Just making sure we're aligned. Then we can take our part, and I'm going to aim for flush up front because they are slightly different size. And reach in there with this one and hold it in place. place. And then we'll reach in there with this one, hopefully right here. How's that? Yeah, that'll do. Okay. And then I'm going to give it a tap. Yeah, there we go. That's holding it right where I want it. Yeah, there we are. Okay, then I'm gonna swing you guys around so you can see what I'm actually doing here. But we've got it sort of fixtured so it can hold it, and now I can come in here with transfer punches. So I'll bring you back here in just a second. Okay. So now we've got a 1/4 inch transfer punch, and just take our, slip it into there and give it a bit of a tappy tap tap. And do the same to all 5 of them. Cool. Okay. Now that we have those marked, we can free this side from its chains. This can go back. This part is ready for tapping, so just slip it over here for now. And then we'll move these guys over to the other side. And I'm going to do them one at a time so I can hold this part in place while I does it. Flip it around here. And just leave you right where you is. Put on in there, like so. Check it. That should be good. Alright, so now we take the other side, clamp it up, and I'm going to move you guys again here in just a second. That's okay. That's why you're on a tripod. And just clamp this side in. Clamp this side in. Okay, give it a little friendly nudging. Make sure we're good and tight up against it. Flushedness check. No, not flush enough. Nope, too far. Oh no, we're good. Okay, that's good right there. Cinch everything down nice. You are in good shape, I assume. Yes, all right. Okay, transfer punch on this side next. Just take it on over here. Make them left-handed hammering here. I'm just transferring marks, so it's not a huge thing. Just want to make sure we got dots where we wanted dots. We did. Alright, we can take this part off, this part off. And down here we've got marks where we want to put our holes. Okay, alright, so to drill this, I could turn the drill press table upside 90 degrees, but doing that is really annoying and I hate doing it. So instead I'm going to try to hold my workpiece vertically. I want to drill them on the drill press because I want them to kind of go straight down. So we're just going to try this sort of double L bracket thing here. I have a feeling this is going to hold me plenty square and very stable for drilling into. And this ought to keep, this ought to allow me to keep my drill press table flat, perpendicular to the spindle. So I'm going to come back here with my punch which I have seemed to have hidden from myself. It's around here somewhere. So I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna center punch these one more quick little bit. They're pretty well dimpled, but I'm gonna do a good center punching on them first. And as soon as I figure out where I put it, and then I'll bring you back at the drill press. All right, let's get after this. Start by lining this one up. Should be good there. Drops. So I can see where I'm putting cutting oil. It shook away, so there we go. It's not too noisy. It's not bad at all, actually. We'll see how it gets when we get a little depth to her here. I'm going in about 1/4 inch at a time, and that's it. Fill that hole up here. Didn't do it at all. Alright, let's flip it back over. And no, we'll just drill these out. I'm pretty sure what I can do is just finish off the hole with a larger drill with it in. So, alright, we got our, what is this, number 7, I think, drill, maybe an 8, I don't remember now. Whatever the tap size is for 1/4-20. Got some more of our cutting fluid. Get it all up on there. And we're just gonna, I've got a step depth of about that deep. That should be plenty deep for my bolts to go into, more than I think. So let's get after this. All right, these holes have been drilled. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't countersink them. I'm gonna countersink them to give my taps a bit of a helping hand. I'm gonna give them a good bit of countersunk too. Just to give the tap a fighting chance at going in straight. So we'll do that, and then I'm just going to get after it with a tap as soon as I figure out where I put the tap I had. There it is. Right on the mill. And we're going to, got my cutting oil here, my tapping fluid, and we'll just soak the tap and go for it, I guess. Trying to get it in there as tight or as straight as I can without too much trouble. No, it's crazy cocking it over somewhere. There we go. There we go. So we're using a spiral tap so it pulls the chips up. And I'm just going to run it in as deep as I dare, I guess. Let's pop those chips out. And just keep it, try to keep it as straight as I can. And we'll come back out and get some more fluid. I'm being careful with these specifically because they are the main structure holes for the whole thing. The sides bolt to this. One, that whole line of bullshit I gave you earlier about tapping these deeper because I wanted more threads to get it stronger. It's not any stronger after about 1/2 inch deep. I really didn't need to be tapping as deeply as I did. This is the last hole on this part, so naturally that's when it's going to snap. I cussed and I continue to kick myself for pushing this tap too hard. I really did push the tap way too hard. Should be able to get more than 9 holes from the tap. But I thought I was babying it, and there was like a quarter turn. I wanted one last quarter turn out of this run, and it seized a little sooner than the quarter turn, but I kept pushing it. I kind of ignored. I didn't listen to the feedback I was given. And so that's what happens when you overdrive a tap. I'm going to leave this. I have to go to the grocery store, and I'm going to try something I've learned from AVE and a few other people. So I'm going to give it a shot. We'll see. I have 6 more holes to tap with the exact same diameter. I just have to go get my other tap now. So I'll get us on the bench and get positioned, and I'll bring you back. All right, well, not one to be completely deterred. I have another one of these wonderful taps, and I have some more holes that need to be done. These are through holes and they're shallow, so we should have far less trouble than we did on those deep ones. So we're just going to keep on going. These are face ones, so they will get it straight here. They will only go in a 1/2 inch, so we don't really have as much risk of breakage. I'm going to say that and jinx myself, of course. But yeah, these are all right. These are going to be just fine. And yeah, it was a brand new tap too. Oh well, we'll figure something out. I have an idea. Stay tuned on that, by the way. That's a booger. All right, we're gonna run to the grocery store and bring back some magic juice to help this. Bring back some magic to help fix this one. All right, we'll bring you back here in just a bit. All right, so we have a very strange contraption, but the internet tells me this should work. So we're going to try this. I have my aluminum slab here clamped to a couple of 4x4s to hold this corner, and this is the corner where the tap is right here. I have a little mini crock pot just because it's what I happen to have around. It's been plugged in for 15-20 minutes. It's just keeping the water hot. It's not, I mean, I'd say it's slightly hotter than bath water. It's not too hot. There's about a quart there, I think. It's called the crock pot Little Dipper, whatever the size that is. There's got to be something that tells me how big this is. I have no idea how. I don't know what the volume is. It's about a quart. And then we have our magic ingredient, alum. Straight out of the kitchen pickling section, straight out of the spice aisle at the grocery store, alum. So hat tip to AVE and the guys in my chat room that showed me this. But we're going to add this to the water, and then we're going to set this corner down into the crock pot. And the intention is, and it should work because it's been reputed to work quite well, that the alum will dissolve the steel and leave the aluminum behind. I'm actually curious what it tastes like, and you can't see my face, so I probably should do this first. Hold on. I know, I'm breaking the rule of the lab, but I promised I would do it, so I guess we'll get my finger a little wet. That looks like a lot, but Oh yeah. Ooh. It's it is, how do I describe that? That is a weird flavor. It is sweet like sugar, but it's also metallic and sour. And I just grabbed a tiny little bit. Anywho, there, as promised, I tasted it. And now my jaw feels like it's like trying to exude as much saliva as it can. Ah! There, I tasted it. Anyway, let's get back to the mix of gooey down here. All right. Oh, that was a weird flavor. All right. Anyway, so I don't even need this. I don't need this at all because I'm just going to dump some of this in there. I don't know how much it's going to take, but it's super soluble, he says. And so I'm just going to put, like, I don't know. It's clumpy. It's kind of clumpy. Just mix it up here. Now I've got it on my fingers. I'm going to end up putting my fingers in my mouth at some point. Okay, that's about a third of what was in there. And I do need to stir a little bit, though I'm surprised. I'm grabbing something I can stir with. Basically anything that's not steel, maybe aluminum would work, but maybe the water isn't hot enough. Maybe that's enough. Don't know. It's a little cloudy yet, so I'm just going to get this stirred, try to dissolve as much into it as possible. I guess it's got to be saturated to be most effective. Ah, that flavor, man, I cannot get that flavor out of my mouth. It's actually gone mostly, but I still remember it, and I'm having, like, my brain is telling me I can still taste it, but I know I can't. What a weird flavor that was. Man, I've never had those two combined before. That was a strange one. But it is totally safe to do that because it is food grade. Now my hands are covered in it, but that's okay. All right, we can do some more. It's pretty grainy stuff. It's about the consistency of, it's bigger granules than sugar. Slightly bigger granules than sugar. Not by much, but some. So this is a 2-ounce jar. I've put about almost half of it in there. There, it's about half. It's laying on the floor of this at the moment, so I'm going to give it a little agitation, see if we can get a lot of this to dissolve. And I am doing a freaking science experiment, basically. We're going to get this through chemistry. So the idea is, here, let us do sit down. I thought this would go faster, but so the idea is the alum will react with the steel and turn it into iron something. I don't think it's iron oxide, it's something else. But that will become, then that steel becomes water soluble, and then the water here washes it away and then exposes more steel, and the alum goes to work on it, and gradually it dissolves out the steel. So I'm going to keep going. I'm either going to saturate this mix, or I'm going to use up all of my alum, one way or the other. And if I use up all of my alum, it might not be enough to work, but it was all I could get at the grocery store. I guess I could go back and get another thing, but it was already $4, $5. So what I'm doing here will react with the steel and hopefully dissolve the tap out, leaving the aluminum completely intact without any kind of side effects. Hopefully, that's the plan anyway. I cannot tell if that is undissolved alum or other stuff. I think it's undissolved alum. I'm going to add just a tiny bit more, enough to be obviously more. We may have reached saturation. We'll see. You guys can't really see this very well. I think I'll bring you in as I allow for this to dissolve yet. There's definitely alum there now. Okay. So I may be very near saturation at this point. I'm going to close this. Well, I'm going to attempt to close this, and then I'll reposition the camera and bring you in a little better so you can see just what's happening here. Okay, I let it sit for about 10 minutes, and that little caked on stuff, the little stuff in the middle, eventually went away, so it means it's got more dissolving to do. We're going to put a bit more. We've got about 20% left at the bottom of this, 15 maybe. So we're probably going to use all 2 ounces. Hopefully, the fact that it's taking longer to dissolve means we're really close to saturation. Yeah. I have a feeling we're going to end up using all of this, and hopefully that's enough. Yeah, that's pretty much dissolved too. I think the water's gotten hotter. Oh, about the same. I'm going to just go for it. Dump it all in. What the hell? I'm not going to use it again, hopefully. Still a cheap fix. Cheaper than buying another piece of aluminum and making another part. So just try to get this all dissolved then so we can use as much of its power as we can. Yeah, it's going to use it all up, I think. Yep, that did it all. There's a little bit down in there. So just get this little bit gone, and then I'll dip the part in and see if there's enough in here to do the job or not. If it's not, I'll have to go back to the store and get some more. There we go. That's pretty much, oh no, there's still just a tiny bit there. It's not fully saturated yet, but the fact that it takes a little bit to dissolve tells me I'm kind of close, I hope. Hopefully close enough. We're about to find out. So now, I'm just going to lower ye olde part right on down in here and sit there and let it do its thing. Go ahead and chooch. I don't think you're going to be able to see a dang thing, especially since the part's in the way. I'm going to move you guys around, but I don't see any bubbling or anything. I don't think we're going to see any bubbling, maybe? I don't know. It's hard to say. So I'll move you guys around a little bit here. And I'm going to let this chooch a bit, and we'll see if and what happens, if anything. So I'll bring you back to see what the rest of this saga returns with. We'll find out. Alright, so I have determined that after several hours and overnight, it's been a couple of days, but it was only on for a few hours, but it didn't do a thing because I'm pretty sure I didn't have enough alum. So I had about a quart of water and only 2 ounces of alum, so I was pretty sure it wouldn't be enough. I didn't get a solution that was saturated by any stretch. And so I went to the internet and I ordered some toy. I ordered something. Let me get this out of your way here. I placed me an order, and now I have 3 pounds of alum. So what I will do is, so the other thing I did is I've got some hot water here warming. It's not quite that hot yet, but I got some water warming. And it's about a third of what I had before, which means I shouldn't need as much. I should be able to reach saturation. I'm gonna find a good stirring implement, and I'm gonna dump in as much of this as it takes to saturate that solution. I want to get it as close to saturated as possible, so that it has as much chance to work. So I'm going to go find me a stir stick, and then we're gonna spin up. We're gonna mix in a bunch of this stuff. So we'll be right back. Alright, we've got our mixing and measuring devices. However, oh, here we go. We can just tear open our bag. And I'm going to put it in there. Well, I've got a 1/2 cup measuring cup, so we'll start there. I know you can take at least a 1/2 cup. Because that is couple milliliters. So I'm gonna throw this in, sprinkle it in nicely. I'm gonna stir that around a bit. That looks like a lot, but I think it will all dissolve. Alright, so after quite a bit of stirring, I think we're about as saturated as I'm going to be able to get it. It's about a cup of aluminum sulfate in here. That pile is getting smaller slowly, and there's kind of a film starting to build up on the surface. So I think I'm really, really close to saturation. I'm definitely a whole lot more alum than I had in the first try. So I'm going to go ahead and put the part in and see what happens, and we'll bring you back. Okay, so I've had this in here for 4 or 5 hours maybe. It's 8 o'clock tonight. It's 8 o'clock at night. I think I came in at 4, so it's been in here for 4 or so hours. I just pulled it out. The skin you see on the top surface was dark when I came out. I've added a little more to the alum, and I checked the temp, and it's as hot as I can get it. And so I stuck it back in. Oh, and I pulled it back out. I pulled the aluminum, I pulled the part out, and the surface of the tap was black, what's broken off in there. Well, do you see? That made me think, oh, it might be working. Well, I think it's working. Look really closely, right? Let's see if the focus will happen at that zoom. Can you get a bit of focus? Do you see it? Can you see the bubbles? It is generating bubbles. Bubbles is good. Bubbles means it's working. So I'm wholeheartedly into this now. By getting bubbles out, knowing that that tells me it's doing something. I'm not sure if you can see them. Maybe we'll get a different angle I can show you. Hold on a second. But it's working. I wish I could see better if you're getting bubbles. Yeah, see the bubbles right there? Ooh! Science! It's science, man. It's just chemistry. It's chemistry. It's awesome. I love it. Okay, so we're going to leave this here overnight or however freaking long it takes. The fact that I'm getting bubbles is a good sign. It's a very good sign. Yeah, alright. Enough nerding on you here. This is just going to take a while. But I am supremely encouraged by the development of bubbles. It's very good. It is quite good, yes. Alright, I'll bring you back later. Alright, oh, hang on. Okay, so it's the next day. It's probably been 16 hours. It's still quite warm. The levels are pretty low in here. We've had some evaporation, of course. It's crusty. But let's have a look. Oh, we have like a coating here, it appears, that does not seem to bode too terribly well. The coating seems to just slide right off. It is doing something. The protrusion is much smaller, and it's eating down in there, and it's black down in there. I have to try to, it's not coming out yet, but there is some action going. It's kind of slow, and I think I might be a bit too saturated now, maybe? I don't know. There was a pretty good cake on there. Breaking it up here. It's definitely not dissolving any further, so I think what I'll do is I'll add a little water, sort of dilute this a bit. Yeah, it's pretty black there. That's telling me there's some action happening. It's doing something. And the level of it is a lot lower than it was, so I am seeing, I mean, it wasn't sticking out as far. The steel bit has been eroded away to some degree. So I'm going to stir this a bit. I'm going to put in a little more water. We'll give it some more time. Alright, well, it's been a good amount of time. I think I'm done with this. I had it soak for, man, it must have been 25, 30 hours or so. But this little nib started to wiggle around inside, and I've been able to twist it. So before I pulled it completely out, I'm pretty sure we're done. Before I pulled this completely out, I figured I'd start filming again. I had stopped filming because dissolving steel in alum is a very slow, boring process. But I'm pretty sure, because I can even twist on this by hand, I think it's coming out. So I'm going to zoom in and show you what we kind of have left once it pops out. Alright, so this is pretty loosey-goosey now. I don't think it's going to snag on anything now. I'm just twisting it out. And, oh, there it is. It's gone. Okay, so this was in about here. I'd say about that far. So we had it in there about an inch deep. Dissolved all the top stuff and around the sides. So the nice thing was that most of the threads that were engaged are gone. So I don't know if you'll be able to see this. Hold on a sec. I'm going to put that back here, and I'm going to get a pointer. So these flutes were full diameter at some point, because these are up a ways, but the alum dissolved away all that stuff, which basically loosened it up enough for me to wiggle it out of there. I didn't have to dissolve the whole thing, which is nice. I'm going to blow out that little hole here. Hold on one sec. Might be loud. Okay, we're pretty clean in there. Let's see how this bit is doing. Sorry, I'm wandering around the shop there. This bit should, with any luck, I should be able to find the existing thread. And I do. And it goes in. Okay, good. Our threads are still good, it looks like. Which was what I was hoping to have happen. Yeah, there's plenty of thread here. Good. Just clear that out a little bit. It's a little schmutz down in there, but otherwise, I think we're good. Phew! That took a long time. But in the end, we saved the part, which is alright. This was not exactly a worthy part for all this level of trouble, but it was mostly an experiment to see if I could do it. And it turns out I can. Coolness. Well, then we're going to continue on with the rest of this dang build now. Although it didn't really stop all of it, I just decided to take a vacation and stuff. So, alright. Anyway, the tap has been dissolved enough. The tap is freed. Salvaged. Cool. Alum. Alum is the thing, dissolving the steel. Probably would have worked even better if I hadn't had it upside down, basically, and it didn't have to eat uphill, but anywho. Tap dissolved and part salvaged. Moving on to the next thing.